Welcome back. Now we're going to get them all appearing in the other boxes. Now how it should appear in those boxes. We want to probably make it random, right? We want it randomly appearing in different boxes. Now when you hear random, you might remember that we already did something random. Let's look into a Visual Studio. Did we do something random? Okay, let me look here. Okay, look at that. Math.random gave us a random number and we multiplied it and we added and we did all of these tricks to create a random time for showing and hiding of them all. Well, could we use this to randomly choose which box? Let's go back to our trusty W3 School and see what we can learn. So we have our W3 School, and let's search for random numbers in JavaScript. And oh, I think last time we were looking at this JavaScript math random method. So let's click here. Oh yes, and we were here and we figured out that if we want a random number between 0 and 10, we have to take the random number and multiply it by 10. So, well, what if we had a random number between 0 and like 3 or something? Something to that effect. That would say, this will be, say, box 0, this will be box 1, and this will be box 2, or box 1, 2, and 3. Well, let's see what we can do. Let's go back to here and let's go to try it yourself. So if I multiply by 10, I get numbers between 0 and 10. So what if I multiply it by 2? Shouldn't I get numbers between 0 and 2? So 0, 1, 2. If that's the case, this would work. 0, 1, 2. So let's run it. I'm getting 0.1 something, 1.4, 0. Okay, so first of all, I don't want this. This is ugly. I want to get rid of this. I just want a number. Now, how could we get a number? Well, if you have something like this, you round, right? We know from math that we can do rounding. When we round to a nearest digit, we'll just basically get just the 0 and get rid of the rest of the things. Well, as you might guess, there is a way of rounding numbers in JavaScript, and that it is in something called math. This is a library. We'll talk about that later. A library is a set of different tools that we can have. And there is I believe, round. So I'll explain this in a moment. Let's see if I get that right, because I can't remember. Ah, it works. Okay, but actually we don't want round. We want something called floor. I'm not going to go into details about this. Basically, floor just drops anything after the actual digit. So this will be easier. So let's run this. And look, we're getting actually 0, 0, 1, 1, 0. Oh, we're not getting a 2 here. What's going on? The reason we weren't getting the right number is because I actually did make a mistake and it should be round. Okay, let's not get into details of this. It's not important. But look what I'm doing. I'm calling a function. Okay, the same thing as with functions. And when you call a function, you have this open bracket and a close bracket. And inside there, I'm putting some number. Okay, this is going to be this randomly generated number. What I'm saying is, I'm saying, hey, round function, take this number here that has all these digits after the decimal point and round it. And this will actually work. So why don't we take that code, put it into our code, and see what we can do with this. So this will give us, by the way, random numbers between 0 and 2. So where are we showing them all? Show them all, right here. Okay, so let's add the random number here. Again, this says let. I'm going to change it to var. I will explain this one day later. And I'm going to call this something better. I'm going to put it maybe something like this random number is supposed to tell us which box. Okay, so maybe I'll call this box number. How about that? That sounds like a good name. So box number, and then we say get a random number, multiply it by 2, and then round it. And again, see how we're putting this inside the brackets? So this means execute a function called mathRound and take the number that you have here and round it. Remember how we were running our own functions? Remember this function, start timer to hide them all? And this is this function right here. This actually started the timer. And remember how we put open and close brackets? So we said run the function. And this function does not accept anything inside. So that's why we had an open and closing bracket. But the round function actually accepts the number to be rounded. So you have to give it the number to be rounded. And the way you do that is basically putting it inside the brackets. So I could say, we could say something like this, like if I did 1.546, something like this, then this would return me 1. It would round this number. But we're passing it a random number, which is what's here. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so let's get rid of this. Okay, so maybe we should debug this. Let me do that. So let me go here, maybe go full screen again. Nope, go full screen. F12. Where is our random? Here we go. So I'm going to put a breakpoint, and I'm going to refresh, start, and oh, okay. So box number is 2. Okay, so I'm going to run it again. Box number now is 1. Okay, so we know this is going to be okay. Box number will be randomly between 0, 1, and 2. So why don't you go ahead and implement this and actually do this little test. Put a breakpoint here, or maybe you put a breakpoint here, and see what's the value of the box number when you run this. And here is the code that you have to add to the showMol function. This is the code you want to add. Come back when you're done. Okay. Oops, let me close that. Make it like this. Okay, so we have this box number, and it's going to tell us which box to put it in. Right now, we're putting it into box 1. So somehow, depending on this, we have to put it to box 1, 2, or 3. Now, if you remember, we did an if statement right here. If mol is visible, do something. If it's not, do something else. Well, what if we use the same structure to say if box number is 0, put it into the first box. If box number is 2, put it in number 2 box. If etc. etc. You get the point. You know, maybe let's take a look at our streetlight example. Let's get rid of this. Remember how we're looking at the streetlights and we're trying to figure out how, computers think? And we had this, red light means stop, green means go. So we figured out that when we actually think in our heads, we say, if light is red, then stop. Otherwise, go. Okay? And remember we had this yellow light, and I said we're not going to worry about it at the moment. Well, let's worry about this at the moment. Now we have 3. What does that mean? Well, if light is red, so let me move back here. So let me just get a better black pen here. Okay. If the light is red, then stop. But now we have this other thing called yellow. So what do we do here? Okay. So you say if light is red, then stop. Then you say or if light is, and I will use the term yellow. then what do we do with yellow light? Well, for simplicity, let's just say we do the same thing as stop, okay? It's not exactly, for those of you who are drivers know, but let's just say that when the light is yellow, you have to stop, or maybe say start. Stopping. Oops. And if you're a driver, you know that means, if I can safely stop, I will stop. If not, I will quickly cross the intersection. And then otherwise, whoops. Otherwise, go. Okay. So let's think about this. We have this specific message called specific word if, then we have this or if, and we have a condition. Or if light is yellow, then start stopping. Then we have this otherwise, go. Well, this can be written in a programming language like this. If light is red, then stop. Oops. And then we have this, for this or if, we have this special thing called else if. Okay. Else if light is yellow, then start stopping. I think stopping will have two P's. I'm a computer person, not a English person, so here it is, unfortunately. Okay, and now this otherwise, we have something called else. And else does not need a condition here because it just means, else means if none of the top ones worked, then do this. So then I say go. Okay, so this is how we think, and this is how we have to write a computer program. Now, looking at this, you probably can figure out how we can do the different boxes. So let's go back to our code here. So here we have our randomly generated box number. And you know what? Let me put a comment. And I'll say box number will be 0, 1, or 2. And the reason I'm putting this comment is because, you know what? If I come back a week or two and I look at this code, can I just immediately figure out what it is? I might forget exactly what I did here. Should it be round? Should it be something else? How did you figure this out? Well, we figured it out already. So why don't we put a comment telling us that the box will be only these 3 numbers. So let's use our if example. Maybe I'll bring it like this here. You know what? We're going to go like this. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Come on. Here we go. Okay, so we have this example. And let's write the code. If box number is 0, then do something. What do we do? Well, we should put them all into box 1. So why don't we take this? I'm going to cut it. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this whole thing, these 2 lines, I'm going to cut them and I'll put them here. So if box number, if the randomly generated number is 0, then put it into box 1. Then I'll say else if box number equals 1, open close bracket, then we're going to put the mole. So I'm going to right click, copy, right click, paste. I'm going to put it into the box 2. Else, well, we could do just else. We could do else if box number, come on, box number equals 2, close, open. And again, I'm going to copy this, copy, right click, paste. Oops, sorry about here. If box number is equal to 2, then we're going to put it in box number 3. It's kind of unfortunate that box number 0 means mole 1, and box number 1 means 2, and 2 means 3. It seems kind of unfortunate, but you know what? This actually will be better for us long term. So at the end, you'll see. So let's leave it this way. So will this run? Well, let's save and see. Come back here. Okay, start. And I have it showing up here. It's only showing to 1. Oh, look at that. We were just kind of unlucky. It was showing up in the first one, but it's actually showing up in more. But it doesn't disappear from this. You know, our code that makes a mole disappear only works with the first box, not the other one. That's why they show up and never disappear. But the code seems to be working. I mean, we are getting the mole in different boxes. Although, how come the first box doesn't show? Let me just refresh again. Oh, it was just there. So we're going to get the mole. So we got a mole here. It's not going to be removed because the code for removing doesn't work yet. And, well, okay. Let's open F. Oh, there it is. It seems to be kind of working. So at least the code that populates the boxes seems to be more or less working. Ah, there it is. So that's good. So I want you to go ahead and implement this. But before you do, look at something. I created something silly. Are we repeating any code? Do you see any code that's being repeated? What about this? Look at it. It's being repeated 3 times. We do the same thing no matter which box we're in. That doesn't sound right. Why are we repeating it? Well, maybe we should just do it. If it's the same for every box, then why don't we just do it like this and get rid of that here? Doesn't it make the code look a little simpler? So we have to be careful. Whenever you see duplication of code, that's a sign that probably is a better way of doing it. Also, I don't like the else to be here. I like it to be like this. So I'm going to make a change where the else if will be on its own line. And you know what? Since we know that we only have 0, 1, or 2, if the box is not 0, and if it's not 1, it must be 2. So I don't really need this if. I could just simply say else. So if the box number is 0, put it in mole 1. If the box number is 1, put it in mole 2. And otherwise, put it to mole 3. So go ahead and implement that now. You will want to, we already have this. So you will need to add all of this text code right here. I'm going to click it away so that you see. Actually, maybe let me take a screenshot of this. Maybe that's going to be easier. Okay, so all of this you have to do. Come back when you're done. Alrighty, so we've got it appearing. We now want to make it disappear properly. So where do we hide them all? Well, luckily we have a function properly named. I don't like extra space. I want to remove the extra space here. So we have a show mole and we have a hide mole right there. So we remove them all from box 1. So that's this box right here. This is why when the mole appears here randomly, it's actually going to be removed. But yeah, we're not removing it from the other boxes. Well, could we not do something like this? If box is 0, then remove it from box 1, etc. Sounds about right to me. So why don't I do it this way? Why don't I create myself some space here? And I'm going to highlight this entire thing. Right click, copy, and I'm going to paste it here. And well, to hide them all, oops, we set the inner text to be nothing. So we remove the mole here. So we're saying nothing, nothing, nothing. Okay, so this big if statement replaces the one line here. So go ahead and do that. So replace this line with this whole if. And I'll remove this. And I'll take a screenshot again. So you want to implement all of that and remove that one line that was here. Not this one, but the one that was here. Okay, come back when you're ready. If you did run your code the way I always suggest you should, you will find that it doesn't work. If I come back here and I refresh, I hit start. Well, we're not, well, the mole is here. We're not removing it. Why not? Let's see. Is it working? Is it showing up the mole anywhere else? Let's see. It's not working very well. What is going on? Well, for that, let's open Developer Tools and let's see. Uh-oh, we're getting some error. Box number is not defined. And that is showing up here in show mole. Or no, wait, sorry, it's happening here, actually. So it's happening in hide mole. What's going on here? This is working, right? Let me put a breakpoint here and let's refresh. Is this working? Start. Here we go. So box number is unidentified, so it doesn't exist yet. But if I go to next line, it should get some random value, right? Yes, it's random value 0. So now the if goes, if box number holds the value of 0, so let's kind of see. That is true. So if I hit the next line, I'm expecting this to be executed, this line. So let's try. Click and voila, we actually are on this line. So I'm going to go next, and you see how it skipped this and this. And the reason why it skipped these two, it skipped this and it skipped that. And the reason because the if the box equals 0 it worked. So it's not going to the other things because clearly it doesn't apply. So now it does this. So let's run. And oh, here we go, the error. Error pops up. Let's click on it. So error hides, error shows up when we hide them all. And if I put my mouse over this, well, it's not executing here. It's telling me that box number is not defined. Of course, because you see how we declared a variable. We said var variable, and here we don't have var. So maybe we have to declare it here. So let me try that. I'm going to say var box number. Okay. All right, that should work. So let's go back here. Let's refresh and click start. Okay, we put that breakpoint before. So why don't we see what happens this time? Now we have a value of 1. Okay, so is 1 the same as 0? False, it is not. So when I click the next button, you see, it skipped this text. It skipped this code here because it's not supposed to run it when box number is not 0. But is box number 1 true? Okay, so next line, I'm expecting this to be executed. So let me run it. And voila, here we go. A mole is going to be put into the second box. Here, I can see it. Great. Let me run it. Now what happens? Okay, it is not disappearing, but there is no error. What is going on here? So let's go to hide mole. Okay, here. Okay, the box number is here, so let me put a breakpoint here. Aha, okay, so I put a breakpoint here. And box number is undefined. Wait a minute. It was defined here. It's not defined. What's going on? Okay, I'll tell you. This is an important part that I'm showing to you right now. When we create a variable inside a function, this variable only lives inside that function. Only here this variable exists. Anywhere outside, it doesn't exist. So the moment the code comes to the last line of this function, this variable will disappear. So in fact, when I did this var box number, I actually created a brand new variable. They happen to be named the same, they're named the same, but they're completely different variable because each of these variables only exists in the function. But remember how we declared variables at the very top? Like remember how we did this here? We did the variables here. Well, when you declare the variable at the root, at the very top, then this variable actually exists throughout the whole, each function. Every function can get that variable. So we have to make that change. So let's come back here, and I'm going to remove this box variable here. This doesn't do anything good. I will come back here. I'm going to scroll as high as I can. Okay, here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this var box. Actually, no, I'm not going to remove that. I'm going to show you one more thing. I'm going to say here, var box number. Okay, just like that. And well, then there's going to be variable box number, which is available everywhere. So on the surface, this seems like it should work, right? Well, let's try it out. We save, come back here, refresh, and let's see what happens. So, okay, we got them all showing up. I'm going to run this. Okay, and it got removed. Wait, not quite. What's going on? Well, something is not right. So what's going on here? Let's put a breakpoint here. Okay, so we got a box number. It's undefined, so there's no value in it. Put enter, and it's now 0. Okay, so what is the value here? Okay, it seems to be 0. So let me run, and then let me put a breakpoint here. So value is 0. So let's run. What is the value here? Undefined. Whoa, what's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. When you say var box number and you have a var box number here, what you actually are doing is creating another variable with the exact same name as this one, and you override this variable. So this variable is not, well, we can say it's not visible to this function. This function created a brand new variable named the same way. And once this function here ends, this variable disappears. Okay, so if we remove this var, then it's going to be okay. And I'll tell you why. So I'll remove this var, okay? And what this will do is, if I had a var here, I'm saying create a variable. If I don't have it here, I'm just using it. I'm saying, okay, I know there's a variable called box number because I created it here. And now just put into it this random number. So go ahead, for now, actually, let's make sure. Let's go back here. Let's refresh and make sure that things are working. Let me just remove the breakpoints here. Click start and let's see if things are working. Yep. Yep. Seems to be working. Alrighty. I think we got it. So go ahead and implement this. Hopefully I remember everything that we did in this time. So what you will need to do, if I remember things correctly, what you will need to do is you will have to, at the very top of your program, create this variable box number, and then remove the var that was before the box number here. Come back when you've got that. And then, of course, in hide mul, we have this text, this if statement that you had before. So go ahead, save it, and test it. You should always be testing even before you come back to the video. And it seems to be pretty good to me. Okay, so I will see you in the next video where we're going to do a little bit of game tuning.